Good morning. Hey, I want to share some stuff that I picked up from Bob Goff and pass it along to you. Start by reading Acts chapter 12, verses 13 and 14, a great answer to prayer. Peter knocked at the outer entrance, and a servant named Rhoda. Yeah, if you ever wondered, that Rhoda character from CBS, I think it was in the 60s or 70s, I think it was 70s. Yeah, anyway. Peter knocked at the outer entrance, and a servant named Rhoda came to answer the door. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed she ran back without opening it and exclaimed, "Peter is at the door." So the backstory is that Peter had been in prison in Jerusalem, got arrested for preaching the gospel, doing the right thing, and he's supposed to go on trial. He's chained to a couple of guards. When an angel showed up in his cell, the chains fell off, and Peter started walking past guards as jail doors opened in front of him, and the angel was with him until he got out in the street and then disappeared. That's when Peter ran from the prison to John Mark's mom's house. That's when he realized, oh, I guess this isn't a dream. I guess this is really happening. But he guessed right where the whole gang was gathered. And so he knocks on the door, and Rhoda opens the door. She hears Peter's voice, and she's like, wait, hey, this sounds like Peter. Isn't everyone upstairs praying for Peter, hoping to get him out of jail? So instead of opening the door, she runs upstairs, and they get into this kind of discussion. Whoa, yeah, it's Peter. No, it can't be Peter. It's like we were praying for it. It's just kind of crazy, because why don't you just open the door and let him in? But so Rhoda kind of makes the mistake of leaving Peter outside. He's just like, oh, I guess I'll keep knocking. I guess they didn't have Ring back then. As they were going through all these explanations of what it could be, Peter just keeps knocking at the door. So why is all this stuff important maybe for us today? First, sometimes God is at work doing things that we either think he can't do, or he won't do, or we don't notice. What's knocking at your door today, and it's kind of like it's the exact answer to prayer, and you just like, oh, well, I don't really think that's going to happen. Or we can be so busy we don't realize that freedom has already arrived. It reminds me of when Paul and Silas were in prison, and God opened up all the cell doors, and they walk out, and the jailer is going to kill himself. And they're like, you don't need to kill yourself. Nobody else walked out. What freedom are you missing out on? Here's something I really hope you get. God had opened the hard doors. I'm sure that if Peter thought, man, for me to escape, how would I get out of these chains? How would I get through that gate? How would I get through that door? But getting into John Mark's mom's house, that'll be easy. But that was the hard one. God has opened the hard gates. God has opened the gates of heaven for you. Because of Jesus, the gates to heaven are wide open. Wide open. Think about that for a moment. What else? Anything else? He's got the hard one. Walk through the easy one. Open the easy gate, okay? When our prayers are answered, sometimes we think it's crazy or come up with another lame explanation for what's occurring. Remember to thank God. Sometimes we pray and pray and pray, and then God does exactly what we want, and it's like, well, maybe that was just a coincidence. You know what really helps overcome that? Specific prayers. I prayed a specific prayer a couple Sunday mornings ago, and that specific prayer was answered in our service that morning. And it's like no other explanation. Just I was praying in concert with what God really wanted to do. We are surrounded by miraculous things every day. Don't dismiss it, don't ignore it, and don't leave what God has done in your life standing outside the door today. Open the door and receive it. God bless you. Have a great day.